Welcome back to another video from the Vintage RV'er. I am focusing today on the final preparation stages for the exhaust headers for the Dodge 440 for the engine swap. And what you can see here is I've drained out the Coca-Cola dip tanks. I just pulled these headers out and then gave them a very quick final spritz with this product called Evapo-Rust. Put it into a spray bottle and then basically gone through and spritz the headers a little bit. But you can see here, if you look carefully, when I hit it with the Coca-Cola pretty much took 99% of the rust off this header. And when I'm hitting it with Evapo-Rust, it's basically converting it into a neutral finish, and it's literally just, just me spritzing it with the bottle real quick, literally just, you can see that the rust is gone. There was so little left on it. It was just minor surface rust on these headers. So I've got the spark plug guards soaking in this Evapo-Rust. You can see the color of it. It is just, it is really, it's taking this rust off like crazy. This final bit, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that that dip in the Coca-Cola for so long basically removed almost all of it, to the point where now this final product, with this is literally just not even 5 minutes, is pretty much gone into overdrive to get rid of the last remaining bits of rust off these pieces, which is great. I'm really surprised with the header here. You can see where it's black and where it's a little bit of a haze of rust color, but wow, it's almost like back to cast iron, which is what these headers are. So I'm going to clean these up, and then the next step is I'm going to be painting these with a high temperature ceramic, metallic ceramic paint. So again, they won't rust, and I'm hoping that in doing that, they'll stay much more efficient with shedding the heat off the engine. And we'll see these. I'll simulate reinstalling these back on the engine, just so you can get a look on how they install, and also how they look after the ceramic coating is put on them. All right, thanks for watching. I'll be posting very soon. Okay, we're back. I've got the headers out of the Evapo-Rust spray tank there. I'm still soaking my shields for it, but they're doing pretty good here. They're getting clean pretty well. But boy, there's a lot of, look at that. Look how bad that is. I might actually swap this out in a little bit, but it's keeping the steel wool clean. So I'm just kind of letting them sit in there as much as I can, letting them soak, and make my hands dry here. Even though I'm wearing gloves, if I touch the camera, I really don't want to cover it with rust. So what we've got here is we've got some rough patches here that are still pretty thick as far as having some surface rust, what have you. So I'm going to take the wire wheel here, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to touch this stuff up here. That's basically what I'm going to do. So let me get that going here and make that happen. So let's see if I now, probably should put this on something that makes sense, since I don't have a tripod. We're going to try to make do with stuff here. There we go. I don't think that's going to work. I think we're going to have a little problem with that if I do that. Let me see if I can find something a little bit more useful here. Yes, that is my giant propane tank, RV tank, which I've cleaned up. So we can go here. Put in something that's a little bit more usable. There we go. So we'll leave it like that. Gonna get in here. We'll get it down there. this is actually shining it up pretty good. You can see here, I mean, this is actually making all this cast iron. It's basically got a sheen to it now. You can see here, you know, this is really pitted. This is typically a result of excessive heat cycling. When you see this kind of pitting here, because you can see here where it's really smooth. You can see here it's pretty smooth. The rest of it, you know, in these areas where either water has built up or it's, you know, it's gone through a lot of heat cycling, you start seeing this pitting here. So, you know, I'm debating whether I'm going to grind this down like I did the other header back here and clean it up that way, or if I'm just going to be satisfied with, you know, the rust removal process and just get it recoated. I'm going to flip this over here on this side. You can see all the interfaces are all black from the rust converter, and there's a little bit of stress cracking. It's not cracking, but you can definitely see some vertical lines here in this casting, and it's kind of interesting to see that when you start cleaning it up. So by the way, this is actually a brass brush. You can't tell by the fact that it's all silver now on the outside because it's picked up all the residue. But this actually is a brass brush. I'm using it because it's softer than the metal. I'm going to continue working on this. I'm going to cut this off, and I'll be back shortly after I get these all cleaned up. Okay, I managed to get this ground up. Sorry for the long previous video, just showing me basically banging away at it with the wire wheel. But you can see here, I mean, this is pretty clean right now, but it will begin corroding again if I don't coat it very soon. And so it's very humid out, and I really need to get this thing painted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this side first, one, because these flanges, I don't care if the paint gets marred on these, because they're going to get, I'm going to polish them off again and grind them gently, because there are little areas where they're just not very smooth, and I like to have very smooth flanges to mount things like gaskets onto. So I'm going to get this sprayed out. Right now we're going to use this flameproof. It is flat aluminum is the color. So we're going to test it. There we go. And we're going to put some initial light coats on this here. Here we go. Oop, a little bit there. Not too heavy. Don't want to go too heavy with the ceramic paint. I'm going to just kind of get in there and give it a good light coat. Get on the back side here. I'm really doing this for a couple reasons. One, I just don't want this to rust again. And two, you know, if you have a well cleaned cast iron header that is painted with something like this header paint, this ceramic paint, it's going to shed heat a lot more efficiently than just, you know, getting in there with even those lightweight stainless steel headers. This is going to definitely take a lot more punishment over time versus a set of stainless headers. And quite frankly, I know these fit. I know they're in pretty good shape. And so I'm going to leave that one like that and let that dry off to a certain extent. And then once it's dry enough, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to flip it and get the other side here. I got to be patient. You always have to be patient when you're painting anything like this, because you can either put too much on initially and then it drips and then it looks like garbage, or you know, you just push it too hard and then the paint flakes, which is another not so fun thing. No sense in painting it 3 times when you can paint it once and do a nice job with it. Alright, I'm going to pause for now, and you know, next spot you're going to see me working on cleaning this one up a little bit and getting that painted as well. Here's a second header that I've cleaned up and gotten as polished up as I can. So again, I'm going to clean up the back side of this one. Again, flameproof paint. Use the VHT flameproof. Give it some light coats. There we go. Get this looking a little cleaner. We'll spruce it up. There we go. Get some of those hard to reach areas back in there. So we're going to take this one and we're going to move it a little bit around. And then we're going to bring up this header, which I've painted the back side of, and it appears to be fairly dry, so we're going to get this side done. Make sure to shake off and so those ceramic particles are well mixed in the paint. And we're going to get this painted up. There we go. Get it all coated, at least with an initial coat. Get on the back side of this here. Go. We got that on up here. So you can get some of the back side of this one. There we go. Here we go. So there are the painted, ceramic coated exhaust headers. They're going to look really fabulous on the 440 when it all comes together. Should be happening this month in July, that I'll be traveling down to Florida to get this all put together and get the long hauler back up to New York. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll bring up more videos later. Hi, I told you I was looking at some of these pit marks that are kind of showing on this one particular header, and some of them were pretty good size. So what I'm decided to do is I'm going to take my MIG, and I'm also going to do the back side of this here as well while we're at it, and I'm going to finish off doing some fillet welding inside here, because I'm really just not happy with with the amount of pitting that's in here. So I'm going to get in here and try to get some of these spots here. Hopefully I don't burn out my camera doing this. But what I'm doing is I'm literally going into these really big pit marks, and I'm filling them in with the welding with the MIG here. I'm going to have to grind some of these out, but I'd rather grind them out than see these giant pit marks in the cast iron. So here we go. Trying to keep the tip away a little bit because I don't need it too hot. Need it so I can get in there and melt a bead of weld in there. Especially really down here in this really bad part in the inside. Alright, got a lot of them filled up already, which is good. Hopefully it won't fall out when I go back in there to grind them out. There's just so many potholes in this thing that it couldn't stand water getting into these major pot marks in here and causing further damage. I'm also, like I said, I'm also going to do underneath that flange there and get that cleaned up. I'll show you that in a second. So this is with the pot marks filled in with the MIG. Also done around the flange, and also done around the backside where there was a lot of pitting. And so what I've done is I've filled those in with the MIG as well. I'm going to grind all these down, make sure they're as smooth as I can get them. But for the most part, the major pock marks that were on this header, cast iron header, I fillet welded in as best I could for now. And then grind those out, and we'll have a fairly smooth surface again going forward.